For hundreds of years, the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people of Australia have been utilising their knowledge of plants to cure forms of sickness. The rise of technology has forced scientists to discuss how Indigenous uses of native Australian plants has impacted modern medicine. The tea tree plant and old man's weed are two Australian plants whose uses are significant throughout time. The tea tree plant, scientific name Melaleuca alternifolia, is a small tree or shrub which grows to 7 meters in height. It bears white flowers which sprout in small masses of spikes, giving off a fluffy appearance. Commonly found in low-lying subtropical coastal landscapes, the tea tree plant is endemic to the east coast of Australia. Its geographical distribution extending from southeast Queensland to Victoria and some parts of Western Australia. With Indigenous name Kalara, the tea tree plant has a long history of traditional medicinal use. The Ugambe people of southeast Queensland use the plant by chewing on the leaves to alleviate colds and headaches, or crushing the leaves into a paste to be used as an antiseptic in treating cuts and wounds. Whilst other Indigenous communities, such as the Bundjalung people of the northeast New South Wales region, utilise tea tree oil in its liquid form. By inhaling the oils from the crushed leaves, coughs and blocked noses were cured. Furthermore, the tea tree leaves were often soaked in water to make an infusion used to treat skin ailments. When preparing the plant for medicinal use, the biomass is soaked in water and cooked for up to 2 hours. At the 100-degree point, the mixed steam and oil is passed through a condenser, where the sudden drop in temperature to 35 degrees causes it to condense, forming an oil and water mix. This mixture is passed through a chamber, separating the oil from the water. These two solutions are then stored and used respectively. The active ingredient in tea tree is terpenine 4-ol. This compound has an antibacterial and antifungal effect and has been shown to kill certain bacteria, viruses, and fungi. Terpenine 4-ol also appears to increase the activity of white blood cells, a prime quality to help germs fight invaders. Research indicates that terpenine 4-ol, when used correctly, has the ability to cure harsher bacterial diseases such as tuberculosis. Tea tree oil is used in curing onychomycosis, a toenail fungal disease. A study conducted by Podiatry Today showed that over 16 weeks, the plant had a success rate of 80% in curing the disease. Its anti-inflammatory properties can be utilized as a topical cream to ease eczema flares, and when the oil is added to a water bath, it decongests mucus caused by bronchitis. Old man's weed, scientific name Centopedia cunninghamii, is a small green plant which grows to about 20 centimeters. The leaves are small and the plant grows in a range of soil and light conditions. The plant can be found along the banks of the Murray River, but it is found all across Australia. Indigenous name Gok Wundarok, old man's weed has a variety of medicinal properties, this being useful to treat a range of ailments. The indigenous Koori tribe of northern New South Wales use the plant for soothing wounds and inflammations or curing sore throats. The Karenji community utilise traditional methods of binding the leaves of the plant directly to the forehead in order for the body heat to release the plant's essential oils into the skin. Many Aboriginal groups all over Australia commonly use old man's weed in the form of a tea, brewing the plant in water to provide relief from sore throat. Its most common uses today are in the form of a liquid. In order to prepare the plant for this process, large bunches of the plant are collected and boiled in hot water to separate the liquid. The plant can be used in the form of eye drops to cure ophthalmia, a form of conjunctivitis. Also, it is useful in easing the pain caused by psoriasis, a chronic disease in which the life cycle of skin cells is sped up, resulting in an excess of skin buildup. The active ingredient in old man's weed is tryptophan, a vital amino acid which is important in balancing nitrogen levels in infants, and creates niacin, an essential in creating serotonin. As tryptophan helps produce necessary compounds for the brain, in the future it has the ability to solve and reduce the severity of numerous brain conditions. Whilst all this information may be beneficial to modern medicinal use, it is important to understand the ethical implications of bioharvesting. Bioharvesting is a term used to define the activities involved in collecting living organisms from the natural environment to be used as food or for medicinal purposes. Australia's native plant industry is heavily established on the historic knowledge of Indigenous communities. However, existing Australian laws are inadequate in catering for the immense value of Indigenous knowledge. Alongside this, the low level of representation in Australian government of Aboriginal members prohibits the full fruition of laws regarding intellectual property rights. The ethical implication for this is that there is not a rightful ownership and lack of a greater role played by Indigenous Australians. In order for scientists to improve on this aspect, working with state and federal governments to initiate greater representation of the Aboriginal community in the Cabinet will allow for the creation of new schemes which prove to be beneficial and respectful to the rightful natives. Additionally, Australian climatic and soil conditions result in a higher degree of difficulty in pollinating and growing plants. Many areas in which plants such as tea tree and old man's weed grow are sacred or have a significant meaning for local Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander communities, and as a result of the habitual compositions, unsustainable bioharvesting occurs, negatively affecting the ecological balance of the environment. Further evaluation of this process suggests that in order for scientists to maintain a fair connection with Indigenous communities, it is important for pharmaceutical industries to communicate with local elders to understand the spiritual and biological value of the area. Technology has brought together two communities for the greater good. However, the ethical implications are often lost in the process. By scientists increasing awareness, a greater representation on the importance of Indigenous knowledge regarding the medicinal use of native plants will be shown.